الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, all praise is due to Allah, and we ask Allah to exalt, dimension and grant peace to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال البخاري في صحيحه عن الزبير بن عدي قال: أتينا أنس بن مالك فشكونا إليه ما نلقى من الحجاج فقال: اصبروا فإنه لا يأتي زمان إلا والذي بعده شر منه حتى تلقوا ربكم سمعته من نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم. Bukhari narrated to us that Az-Zubayr went to Anas ibn Malik and told him, or he said, we complained to him about the trials we were facing with Al-Hajjaj. Al-Hajjaj was someone who was in charge, and he used to persecute and kill people. He was known for being a killer, someone in charge, and he didn't play games. A tough ruler, very tough ruler. So they complained about the problems they were facing with him. Anas told them, radiallahu anhu, isbiru. What does that mean? Lose patience? Sabr. Be patient. Verily, there shall not come a time except that the one that is after is worse than that time, until you meet your Lord. I heard this from your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this hadith, then we learn that as we move in time away from the prophethood time, as in prophethood, the presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as time goes by, there will be more trials, more evil, widespread amongst the people. And needless to say, this is something that we experience in this day and time. Some fitan trials, tribulations, temptations, some affect particular kind of people based on race, nationality, skin color, gender, age group, and so on and so forth. Some trials are particular to particular people, and some encompass all and leave none. No one escapes them. Everyone gets his share of this fitna. Among the fitan of the 21st century is the internet. The internet. The internet, which turned the whole world or the globe into like a small network. So much so that you communicate with people all over the world within seconds. You try. Open your Hotmail account if you have one, and send an email to your Gmail account if you have one, and in a split second, the email which you sent from Hotmail will appear in your Gmail. Now this is you locally. Of course, goes through an IP, long process. Someone could be on the other side of the planet, and they will do the same thing, and it will be the same result. Messenger, MSN, Yahoo, means of, now video, audio. So now the world, which before you could never see your relatives unless you traveled to some country, now you can see them every day, as if they live with you. Internet. The internet is a double-edged sword. It can cut you on one end, and it can benefit you on the other end. It depends on how you use it. In the middle there's peace. On the sides there's slicing. And many people have been sliced up in the process. It has taken over our lives. Internet has taken over our lives. In fact, there's no successful business today that can function without internet, without having a website, without the employees sending emails to each other, and so on and so forth. Our lives have never been the same. Ever since internet came into existence, everything has changed. The old filing, cabinet and everything become archived on a hard drive. Everything is changing. Our life is changing because of this internet. Now, I explained in my lecture, Do Not Forward, if you remember it. If you don't remember it, watch it. Do Not Forward, we dealt with the etiquettes of the internet, the emails which one receives, how do we deal with them, what is allowed and what is not allowed. And there's much elaboration. But now I will give some bits and pieces that we need to discuss relevant to our discussion tonight. Which is, the internet, as everything else, must be governed by the Islamic teachings. Our behavior online falls under the same rule as our behavior in real life. Physical contact. What one does online is not different than what one does amongst his colleagues and co-workers. Anything which one does online is responsible for. Even though this seems to be common sense, and you think to yourself, yeah, big deal, of course we know that. The truth is, it seems that people fail to recognize that when it comes to application. And so you find that they allow themselves to do things online which they will never do in real life. As in the real life, not the online life. It's like split personalities. They're careful, cautious, mindful of Allah when it comes to outside, real life. Again, I'm going to call it real life with the exception of the internet. But online, everything goes. Everything goes. And we'll give you some examples of that inshallah in a little bit. Now, among the aspects of the internet which has caused a lot of controversy and problems is Facebook, which can make you face hell. Thus, the title of the lecture, Facebook can. Some people complained, ala tool, but they didn't reflect. They said, you're saying Facebook's haram? I said, you didn't read the title. Facebook can make you face hell. It can, it cannot. I didn't say Facebook will make you face hell. Once I say that, it's done. Something can benefit you and it cannot. There's that possibility. Facebook can make you face hell. Something which we really need to realize and internalize. Otherwise, it would be too late. I didn't mean to rhyme there. It was really accidental. Now, I've spoken about Facebook many times. You've all heard in the previous lectures my agonies with Facebook. And alhamdulillah, I finally closed my personal account for personal reasons. Even though the one way to paradise remains to be, functioning. We will deal with that in a bit also inshallah. But many lectures, or speaking about it in many lectures, really wasn't enough. Because it requires elaboration on its own. So I decided to dedicate a whole lecture for it. Why? In order to manifest the statement of Allah, لِيَهْلِكَ مَنْ هَلَكَ عَنْ بَيِّنَا وَيَحْيَى مَنْ حَيَّ عَنْ بَيِّنَا. So those who were to be destroyed are destroyed after a clear evidence is presented to them, and those who will survive, those who were to live, they will live upon clear evidence, just to establish the evidence against the people. Then those whom Allah decreed will be destroyed after they know that I did that wrong thing, and Allah will destroy me for it. And those who will manage and live, then they will do so after knowing that what they did was the right choice. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't by chance. They made the right choice, which brought about the existence and the livelihood. First, Facebook in and of itself cannot be categorized as halal or haram or makruh or mubah or mustahab. As Facebook as it is right now, we cannot really categorize it under anything, because it is like grapes or any other thing, television, recorder, radio. How do you use it? It's just a thing. It falls under mubah. Let's say it falls under mubah. How do you use it? If you use it in an unlawful manner, it becomes unlawful. And if you use it in a lawful manner, it becomes lawful. So we cannot say Facebook is haram unless we see what is happening on Facebook. Or, more particularly, what are you doing on Facebook? What are your activities? Then for that individual, a mufti will give him a fatwa. Otherwise, Facebook is just Facebook. Like anything else in this world, which Allah left open without any ruling on it. Now the usage is that which determines the ruling. What we do need to realize is that Allah had said in the Quran in the clearest terms, which we hear very often in the salawat, and many of us have memorized these ayat, وَأَنَّ عَلَيْكُمْ لَحَافِظِينَ كِرَامًا كَاتِبِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. Upon you are guardian angels, scribes. They are noble. Hafidhin, they keep record of what is happening. Kiraman, they're noble. Katibin, they write down what you do. يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. They know that which you do. Yani when we're sitting there, whatever thing we're involved in, there are angels accompanying us, writing down our actions. These actions will be presented in suhuf, kitab, right? فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ. The one who receives this book, as Allah says in Surah Al-Kahf, لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. It will not leave anything, minor, major, small, big, except that it has it recorded. A deed will be presented with everything we used to do, including the internet and Facebook. In a hadith Qudsi, Allah says, يَا عِبَادِي إِنَّمَا هِيَ أَعْمَالُكُمْ أُحْصِيهَا لَكُمْ. My slaves, it is only your deeds which I keep track of, which I enumerate for you, which I keep records of. Allah Azza wa Jal then knows all the deeds and all the things which we do, and we will be asked about them on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now, the other element which we are not very mindful of concerning Facebook is the fact that it is being used as a platform for da'wah, which is good, but not really at some times. At some times, individuals who should not be giving fatwa, who should not be spreading knowledge, are doing so. The same way, in real life, if someone asked you a question about a matter in Islam which you don't know, you can't answer him until you know. If you know from either the evidence itself or from the statements of the scholars or whatever yani hujjah, proof and evidence you have, you speak. Otherwise you speak not. And today, this idea of forwarding emails, posting comments, for example, or notes or videos that contain information that is inauthentic is haram. Not every time you see a video that you think sounds nice, you can go ahead and post it or share it with your friends without knowing the content of this material and whether it is Islamically sound or not. Similarly, you can't just open up any book and get an extract from it that you think sounds nice with narrations there, which you don't know whether they are authentic or not, and post it on your Facebook page so that everyone that comes in, they see it without verifying first whether this is sound information or not. You cannot do that, because you are either sharing knowledge or you're giving fatwa, and both require knowledge first. فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ. Allah told the Prophet ﷺ, know that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah, then seek forgiveness for your sin. So we in Islam give precedence to knowledge over actions and statements. Without knowledge, no actions, no statements. The idea then of putting up information without verifying it first is something which we are not allowed to do. If we understood this element, we will solve 90% of the Facebook problems. Well, not 90, let's say 50%, because we have many other problems. But most of them will be solved. If everyone really used it in such a fashion that before they shared anything, they had verified that this is reliable, authentic, sound information, then you will have a peace of mind. But the problem is, and the truth is, most Facebook users, I'm speaking about Muslims, I'm not even going to speak about the non-Muslims, because I don't expect anyone to have friends that are non-Muslims unless they're giving them da'wah or their relatives. And that is still debatable. I'm assuming that these are all Muslims you're speaking about. The truth of the matter is, I personally suffered when I tried to keep a page that was personal, not for One Way to Paradise, wherein the only friends I have are male friends. Okay, and not only, I was somewhat selective, meaning I don't just accept anyone. If they have a silly looking picture, you know, that indicates that there's lack of commitment, I wouldn't even add this person as a friend. Because I know what kind of things I will see on my front page the next day. I know what kind of things they will share. And I'm not willing to see them, nor anyone who has me as a friend to see them either. With being super selective, I failed drastically. I had major failure. In fact, I spent hours a day simply trying to rectify and enjoin the good and forbid the evil. With the shortcomings that I have and the lack of knowledge which I have, there should be someone over me doing what I'm doing to the others to teach me as well. But with the little thing I know, I had to spend my whole hours trying to tell this person, this is wrong, this is haram, you cannot do this, and all you get is philosophers. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I never knew there were so many philosophers in Islam. I always thought it was Einstein and, you know, Aristotle and these guys. It turned out we have way more than the people think. The average Muslim today is a philosopher. You can't get to any bottom line with him concerning anything. You give him something, they give you 20 things in return. Not on evidence, not Quran, Sunnah, no. I think, I assume, my sheikh told me, it's an endless hassle and suffering. Why? No knowledge. Want to do good. Not saying they intend good, but the intention is not sufficient. The intention must be accompanied with the correct deed. A deed according to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is as Allah described it. قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say, this is my way, I call to Allah upon knowledge, I and those who follow me. This is the way, upon knowledge. So the first advice to those who want to stay on Facebook is quit that stuff. Don't put up anything, not a video, not an audio, not a note, not anything, unless you know this is sahih, and you can stand before Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, I knew this was reliable information. If you didn't, you are sinful. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Allah said, don't go chasing that which you have no knowledge of. You don't know about it. If you say, brother, I don't have the qualifications to verify, say, Barakallah feek, you answered yourself. You don't have the qualifications, leave that business alone to those who are qualified. If he says, I'm qualified, say, then go ahead. Verify. See how you corner them? I'm not qualified, then what are you doing? I am qualified, فَفَضَّل. Verify. This is the only two options. Or these are the only two options. Without them, no. طيب. Now, allow me to discuss with you the reasons, one by one, that make Facebook a harmful element in the life of a Muslim. First and foremost, pictures. And foremost, pictures. My favorite topic? Maybe. I'm going to read some stuff for you, because I don't want to go left or right myself. So we will explain the ruling concerning photography. And we will exempt the video cameras for very valid reasons, which I will explain at the end. So be patient, don't let the shaitan play with you. See how you're talking about pictures and you're being filmed right now. Slow your roll. I will explain, inshallah. Pictures. Photography in Arabic is known as taswir. Basad. Taswir. It means that... No, brother, excuse me, sir. It's okay. The taking of pictures... Back with me. Photography means the taking of pictures of living, animate, moving beings. Animated beings. like people, animals and birds. Like people, animals and birds, etc. The ruling is that it is forbidden on the basis of reports, such as the following. Report number 1, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu warḍah, reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أشد الناس عذابا يوم القيامة المصورون. The hadith is in Bukhari. The most severely punished people on the day of resurrection are the image makers. Listen now, some people think I'm playing, or think, oh no, but, stop your buts right now. Listen to the hadith so you will know we're not playing games here. The most severely punished people on the day of resurrection are the image makers. And the image makers, as we will explain, are those who sculpture a statue, are those who draw an image in, cartoon-like, and the cartoon, there's a further explanation for it. But let's say at school, the school says your son has to draw a monkey or a lion or an elephant or his father, and you draw with the features, eyes, nose, mouth, and camera pictures. Whether it's on your phone or on a digital camera or whatever. If it's going to snap and keep a pause of you, moving a picture that is not moving, this is included. We will see. That's the hadith number 1. Ali radiallahu anhu said, shall I not send you on the same mission as the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent me? Do not leave an elevated grave except that you level it, and do not leave any picture in any house without erasing it. Any picture, blot it out. Blot it out, erase it, get rid of it. Ibn Abbas reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, every image maker will be in the fire. Every image maker will be in the fire. And for every image that he made, a soul will be created for him, which he will be punished with in the fire. For every image he made, every picture he snapped, there will be a soul created, and that soul will punish him in the fire. So if someone took so many pictures, then he will have a lot of things to deal with on Yawm al-Qiyamah, in Jahannam. Ibn Abbas said, in commenting on his hadith, if you must do that, because he said this to someone, and this person's jaw dropped, because this was his source of living. He told him, yeah, Ibn Abbas, this is how I make a living, by drawing pictures. He told him, if you must do that, make pictures of trees and other inanimate objects. Sun, moon, flowers, house, rivers, mountains. You want to show us your artistic, skills? Go ahead. But leave soul-possessing beings alone. Leave animals, and leave birds, and leave human beings. Ibn Abbas said, if you must draw something, then let it be the trees and the plants and nature in general, not including the animal kingdom and that of human beings. These ahadith indicate that pictures of animate beings are haram, whether they are humans or other creatures, whether they are 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional, whether they are printed, drawn, engraved, carved, cast in molds, etc. These ahadith include all of these types of pictures. The Muslim should submit to the teachings of Islam and not argue with them by saying, but I'm not worshipping them or prostrating to them. Because that's one of the ilal, that the people of Nuh made these idols into gods and they worship them. Say, I'm only taking a picture of my grandfather, I'm not going to worship him, I'm not going to make sujood for him. If we think about one aspect, only one aspect of the evil caused by the prevalence of photographs and pictures in our times, we understand the wisdom behind its prohibition. Especially the aspect of the great corruption caused by provoking physical desires and subsequent spread of immorality caused by these pictures. The world of pornography, whether it is via video or pictures, there's a whole world of corruption based on this concept. Child abuse, child pornography, you know them. In the world they exist today. Sisters in Islam posing and taking pictures of themselves, which they supposedly share with their friends, and you don't know what people do on the other side of the door. let alone in their own home, in their own privacy, in their own you don't know what. And don't think they are angels walking around among the Muslims. They are human beings, prone to sin, prone to desires, inclined to temptation. If this was the only negative aspect, that would be enough. But I'm going to continue. Now, let's leave alone the actual taking of the images. The Muslim should not keep any pictures of animated beings in his house, because this will prevent angels from entering the house. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا تدخل الملائكة بيتا فيه صورة أو كلب. The angels do not enter a house in which there's a dog or pictures. And the ulama say, لا خير في بيت لا ملائكة فيه. There's no goodness in a house in which angels are not present. And when the angels leave, who will come in substitution? Shayateen. And when the shayateen are home, then it will يَؤُزُّ النَّاسَ لِلْمَعَاصِي أَزَّ. They will incite the people to disobedience. They will cause the family to disobey. Amongst the family members or on individual basis, it will actually keep the angels out, the shayateen will come, and all kinds of problems will result from that. I don't know if any Muslim can afford to say, I don't need the angels in my house. The angels they seek forgiveness for the believer. They protect the believer. They play major roles in the life of a Muslim that we cannot undermine. Just because we don't see them, it doesn't mean they don't exist. If you have a picture in your home, no angels for you. Now, the pictures which are present in a book, which you cannot avoid, like encyclopedias. If you were to take that, the 18 volumes and try to blot out the pictures, you will never end. This is excused because of necessity. But we're speaking about precisely pictures for memory, whether they are hung on the wall or they are in the albums. It makes no difference. Once you have pictures of yourself when you were 5 and 6 and 10 and family members, all this is included. You say, but your brother, life, man, come on, you're such an extremist. You're going to tell me I'm going to throw away my pictures of my childhood? Yes. Yes. Throw them away. Rip them up. Burn them up. Big deal. Were you created to look at yourself when you were 5 and have a good time? Don't you think people lived before you for millions of years and they survived without having photo albums of their families? They survived. Have you ever heard of someone dying? He died, why? He didn't have a family album. No photo for him. The pain and the agony overcame him. He died of sadness. Never. People survive. You will survive. And maybe you were not even that cute. So I don't know what kind of picture you keep. But maybe every time you look at yourself, you get scared. Get rid of the pictures, ya Sheikh. Throw them away. Let the angels enter the house. You don't need them. We don't need them. Now if you took a picture for some evidence, proof, for example wedding pictures, in some of the countries, for you to actually get an official marriage contract, you need to present, evidence that you actually did a nikah or wedding. Something that is excused in this fashion is exempt from this. We're speaking about for memory purposes. Let alone the picture which someone's daughter took when she graduated from university, which she puts in his majlis, so every time guests come over say, MashaAllah, Tabarakallah, this beautiful 18-year-old daughter is yours? Oh yes, brother, MashaAllah, she's a doctor now. Did you hear what he said? He just flirted with your daughter. He called her beautiful 18, or even if he didn't say that, are you going to let a man look at your daughter? Oh, mashallah, very nice. Very nice. And the father, yes, alhamdulillah, I have 4 of them. Let me get you the other pictures of the 3. No, malish. Sit down, ya sheikh. Mashi halak, huh? Leave these pictures in the back. Hanging the picture is out of the question. No way to have a picture hanging in your wall. This is super danger. In the album, also not allowed. Things that are a necessity are a necessity. Right. Now listen to this now. Taking pictures with a camera involves human actions such as focusing, pressing the shutter or the button, developing, printing, and if you have a digital one, transferring the file and creating folders. It's a long process. We cannot call it anything other than picture making or tasweer, which is the expression used by all Arabic speakers to describe this action. In fact, they call it surah, when someone in the Arabs can attest to this, the picture is called the surah. Even when you go to Jawazat, he says surah or suratan. Usually two pictures. They need pictures. It's called surah. And we call the one who takes pictures musawwir. Jib al-musawwir. Let him take pictures. So linguistically, it's called surah. And the hadith says, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ عَذَابًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ الْمُصَوِّرُونَ. So the term encompasses them. Now, in the book Al-I'lam bi-Naqdi Kitab al-Halal wal-Haram, the author says, photography, listen to this now, is even more of an imitation of the creation than of Allah. Afwan, I will repeat. Photography is even more of an imitation of the creation of Allah than pictures which are engraved or drawn. Why? So it is even more deserving of being prohibited. There is nothing that could exclude photography from the general meaning of the reports. Yani, one of the ilal, one of the reasons behind the prohibition of tasweer is the fact that you are trying to take on the quality of tasweer. Who is the musawwir? Who is the musawwir? Allah. You don't have Surah Al-Hashr memorized? What does it say at the end? هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور صوركم في الأرحام. More than one ayah. The one who fashions, who gives images, who formulates human beings is Allah. And when someone grabs a pen and he draws, he's doing that which Allah does. He's playing the role of Allah. He's taking the quality, a sifa, sifatul tasweer, which belongs to Allah alone. You don't have the right to do it. So one of the reasons behind the prohibition is that you are resembling Allah in that quality. So the one who takes pictures with the camera says, but I'm not drawing. I'm only snapping a button. It's taking the picture. That's not the same. The Shaykh said this is even more haram. Because when I take a picture of you, when I draw you, am I going to be 100% accurate? I may miss something. It may not be as close to the real deal than the picture which is exactly you. Exactly you. He said it's even more haram. Pictures with the camera are even more haram than the ones that you draw. And that's fiqh. That's fiqh, and that's dangerous for us. Among the scholars who have discussed the issue of photography is Shaykh Nasiruddin al-Albani rahimahullahu ta'ala. He said, some of them differentiate between hand-drawn pictures and photographic images by claiming that the latter are not products of human effort, and that no more is involved than mere capturing of the image. This is what they claim. The tremendous energy invested, the one who invented this machine that can do in a few seconds what otherwise could not be done in hours, does not count as human effort. Yani they say when you draw, you're sitting there spending time and getting colors and pens and whatever. Now, you just press a button. They say no human effort. He says, how about the time it took the one who invented the machine? That was not human effort? That's number one. He went on to say, then pointing the camera, focusing it, taking the picture, preceded by installation of the film, followed by developing and whatever else I may not know about. None of this is the result of human effort according to them. All this is not counted as human effort. Yani they make it sound like you press a button, khalas. There's nothing else. There's more to it. There's more to it. He said some of them explain how this photography is done and summarize that no less than 11 different actions are involved in the making of a picture. In spite of all this, they say that this picture is not the result of human action. Can it be permissible to hang up a picture of a man, for example, if it is produced by photography, but not if it is drawn by hand? Yani if I draw a picture of you by hand, and I hang it on the wall, you say haram. But if I take a picture and I hang on the wall, it's halal? Doesn't make any sense. He goes on to say, he said, which is tasweer or picture making in every sense, linguistic, legal, and in its harmful effects. And it is clear from the definition mentioned above. Years ago, I said to one of them, and this is very interesting, by the same token, you could allow idols. If you invent a machine, when you press one button, it creates and it makes 10 statues. Is it halal or haram? Why? I only press a button. What's the result? Statues. The outcome. So whether someone spends 10 hours sculpturing it, carving it, or someone presses a button and it gives you 10, the result is what? Haram. Don't get philosophical. Don't get philosophical. That's what the Shaykh is trying to say. So, then he mentioned some more things about the dangers of the taking pictures. And even the scholars, by the way, like Shaykh bin Uthaymeen, and we discussed his opinion, his position wasn't really, he wasn't consistent on it. He had some doubts. Even the one who said that photography is allowed, did not allow you to keep pictures from memory. Yani even the scholars who allowed you to take a picture with the camera, according to them, you cannot keep it at home because angels will not enter. So now what are you going to do with it? Yani there's no room. And really the position of Shaykh Albani is quite powerful. Now, exception to the rule, passport pictures, pictures that are needed for evidence. A criminal is on the loose, and we need his appearance, or his form, his shape, so we can share it with the police station, in which case you can take pictures of him, draw him, whatever is necessary, because now we have a need for it. It is not for entertainment purposes. So the need, ad-darurat tubihul mahdurat. Now, for those who may complain about what I'm doing, or what other scholars, and I'm not putting myself with the line of the scholars, I'm going to continue. What I'm doing, or scholars, or du'at, people involved in da'wah, or even the average people who are trying to do da'wah, concerning these cameras which I'm looking at right now. First and foremost, according to Shaykh bin Baz, and Shaykh bin Uthaymeen, and Al-Lajna Da'ima of Ifta, the Permanent Committee of Ifta, that video is not included in tasweer. For many reasons. For many reasons. The most common sense one is that now it's recording the movement, the talk, the actions, the live occurrence of an event. It is not a still image, number one. Number two, let's look at it from a logical perspective. Logical perspective. Is there a benefit in recording a lecture on video? Is there? Do the people get to benefit? If you took a picture of a big sheikh, what's the benefit? Inshallah, he has the nicest beard, nicest clothes, he poses up. That's sheikh, tayyib. I don't hear anything. I don't benefit. So this idea, in terms of logically speaking, these, and Shaykh bin Baz mentioned this, and Shaykh bin Uthaymeen rahimahullah, they said if there's a benefit from recording this seminar, this conference, this lecture, wherein people will benefit, then this is a matter of ijtihad, and many of the ulama say this is fine, because there's actually benefit which you may attain. And those who have heard previous lectures and said they have benefited is the biggest proof. But as for a picture, still image, there's never any benefit whatsoever. And Allah knows, I am convinced that this position is sound. I am convinced that video camera is not like pictures. Some people say, but it's a lot of pictures, frozen. I say, I don't see all that. I don't see the brother going tick, 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 and then he puts it together for a video. I see him press one button. If you want to pause every 3 seconds or every 1 second, yes, you can create images with your pausing. But I don't see him do that. And I don't see the machine doing that. It just records what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what anyone else is doing. And again, some of the ulama say, if it's for da'wah purposes. If it is not for da'wah purposes, you just leave it alone to leave alone the shubuhat. So, this is the issue concerning pictures. Now go to Facebook. What is the most common thing you will see? Everyone has pictures. And concerning the brothers, we've explained that this picture is a no-no regardless of what. But for the sisters, there's another element. A sister must understand that even if she follows the position that showing her face and hands is permissible, which is a valid position, I'm not going to deny. In fact, I follow it. That showing the face And the hands is allowed. It is not obligatory. Even the scholars who allow that, never ever will they allow you to put a picture of yourself with your face and your hands are showing, wherein other people or men will get to see it. Even if you're wearing niqab, and the only thing which appears are your eyes, and the eyes are usually an element of beauty and attraction. Subsequently we hear in the Quran, Hur al-Ain. Ain, they have big eyes. Eyes are attractive. So some sisters think, well, I'm wearing a niqab. Sister, you still have eyes. And don't tell me you don't make it a point to look, I'm not going to use the word. You make it a point to look nice. Let's use the nice word. You want to look nice. That looking nice is attractive to men who like nice looking women. You are a service provider. As a service provider, you share with the sin that you are creating, because you are the service provider. Never ever are you allowed to have a picture of yourself, period. If you go back to the asl, you cannot take a picture. If you insist on opposing that opinion because you're truly convinced it's not haram, then let me tell you that never are you allowed to have a picture of yourself on Facebook or otherwise, because it will result in strange men looking at you, and men were commanded to lower their gaze, and you are creating the opportunity for that look, then you become accountable. If you're walking down the street and some men looked at you multiple times and you're fully covered, you are not sinful, they are sinful. But now you are going to them. You are putting your picture. You say, all my friends are girls. Your friends have male friends. And the male friends see what your friends do. Unless you really have a tight network. If you do, that's a whole other discussion. The truth is, it's not like that. Everyone is seeing everyone. Second, A, hold on a second, B, where's my B? Where's my B? Right here. Sorry about that. Okay. Male, female friends. The problem is that they use the term friends. If it was acquaintance, we'll say okay. Friends is a very technical term. And you remember that silly, lousy, wicked, evil soap opera of the days called Friends? You remember that one? Maybe you've never seen it. Alhamdulillah. In my jahiliyyah, I have bits and pieces of it. What was these friends? You know what these friends were doing. And you know what friends mean. Now let me give you some good news. Beautiful news. In Islam, you're one of three people. Married, engaged, or single. Khalas. There's nothing else. Either you are married, case closed. Your time is up. Sorry for you. Or you are engaged, on the verge of marriage, and you have guidelines. Or you are single, means single. There's nothing in between. There's no friend which I'm trying to learn and get to know. So in case I like him, I can tell daddy, you know, this guy I met on Facebook is a beautiful man, mashallah. Very, very religiously committed. We've only had, video chat 3 times. This is a religiously committed brother, sitting there chatting with you through video. What did you leave for the religiously committed brothers then? If this is the religiously committed, what did you leave for the real ones? What did you leave for the wicked? Sitting there are getting to know each other. She smiles and, look, let's stop lying. People fall in love in 3 seconds. Human beings have the ability to fall in love in 3 seconds. A sister can send a brother a message saying, Salaam alaikum, how are you today? And he's done. I'm not lying. And vice versa. Yes. No, not everyone is like that. Not everyone is like that. But this happens very often. And remember when chatting first came out, people were falling in love with 10 people every night. Everybody loves, he never seen her, doesn't know anything about her, except her name. But a few words back and forth, and this is my soulmate. Finally someone who can hear me. This person's not even hearing you. You know, you chat and they go in the kitchen cooking, they come up and you typing, they don't even read anything. Then they come back say, yes. Say, oh wow, what a patient friend. Wallah, he closed it 10 times. But every time he closes the box, when you chat again, it opens again. He's not even reading anything. Come on, keep it real. There's no such thing as friendship. No such thing. You can have male friends as a sister, and brothers, you can have female friends. No such thing. What is the nature of the relationship? Either you are a person of knowledge, whom you are asked, people ask you questions, then this is fine, because the Sahabiyat, the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, or the female companions asked the Prophet ﷺ. No problem. We're not saying there's absolutely no communication. But the communication now has to have a purpose. Meaning this sister is communicating with this brother who has knowledge to learn something about the deen. And not this kind of ongoing learning process. It's more like a question and answer within particular guidelines. Preferably, if the brother has a wife, he creates a joint account with his wife, so whenever an email comes from his sister, his wife reads it too. Otherwise, you may fall into the trap. Many sisters will shock you. It begins with 3 questions. The 4th question is, do you want a second wife? And that's fitna. That's fitna. That's fitna for a man. Even if he has 3, if a 4th one offers herself, it's a fitna. That's human nature. I'm speaking real deal stuff. Human beings, I'm not going to lie, pretend that we're something else. This opens the door to calamities. Let alone the communication and the correspondence is not that of a questioner and an answerer. It is that of friends. I'm learning the deen from him. The ulama used to say it is not halal for you to be alone with the sister, even if you're teaching her the Qur'an. Even if it's tajweed and you have the book of Allah between you, it's haram for you to sit with her. This friendship is a form of seclusion. These personal messages that no one sees, no one reads, this chatting that no one sees, no one reads is seclusion. And the shaitan is the third. The shaitan is the third. So unless you're a person who is involved in some element of da'wah, and this is a must, and you do all that which will take away doubt, you cannot have female friends, and sisters, you cannot have male friends. How many people on Facebook today are willing to take that bold move and remove all of their other gender friends? Not that many. There's a strong connection. And those who have fallen in love, or now suddenly she wants to marry fulan, whom she cannot marry, or he wants to marry a sister whom he cannot marry, their life is never the same. He met her on Facebook. Her father said, I'm not going to let you marry someone you met on Facebook. But he's in love with her already. His salah is her. His work is her. When he's eating, he's thinking about her. You know, love. People get skinny and they get sick and their life changes. Love. It happens to Muslims. Trust me, I get the emails all the time. Not that I get the emails as in people telling me what happened to them. Come on you guys. You have to assume best about your Muslim brother. I get the picture, I met this brother online, I love him, my father said no. That's what I mean by the emails I get. Hey, man, we have to be very careful with the choice of words, especially in da'wah. So no female and male friends, no chatting. Another element of Facebook that is super evil is idle talk. What a waste of time. Yani the worst part, among the worst parts, it's a waste of time. Unbelievable waste of time. Yani if you have 100 friends, and each one of them updated their page, posted something, how long does it take you to scroll down and see every post and every note and every video and every audio? It takes forever. What if you're addicted? Every 5 minutes, you have to check to make sure nothing new came. No one updated there. You're never going to finish. I became a victim. I was victimized. But my issue was, I left a comment for a silly picture, that someone left, and now I'm waiting for their response. And so now I'm in the same loophole though. I want to see, did they respond? Did he accept the nasiha? Or did he reject the nasiha? I found my whole life was Facebook. Day and night, on my phone, Facebook, on the computer. I say, Ish hada? I don't have time for anything anymore. Even while you're eating. One eye with the plate and the other eye on the screen. Slow down, man. Slow down. Facebook can make you face hell. It became a problem. Waste of time. Unbelievable time wastage. And I've already cracked that joke many times. You know, someone says, oh, today I ate at McDonald's. Then there are 85 comments. Was it a Big Mac? Or was it, chicken McFillet, filet, whatever the names are? No, it was that. The ice was cold. I told them I don't want ice. These lousy McDonald's employees. And you press delete, then it doesn't delete right away. It asks you, are you sure you want to remove this post? Yes. Yes, understand what I want. Remove the thing. And if you have 5 minutes later, it pops up again. This is Facebook. You know what I'm saying? If you have one, it sounds like all of you have Facebook over here. Otherwise you wouldn't be laughing. That's Facebook. That's a problem now. We're laughing, but that's a problem that we need to recognize. It doesn't end. The biggest problem I personally face with Facebook is a misunderstanding of an Islamic teaching. A fiqh principle. In the common world, some people say that the end justifies the means. And some people say the ends do not justify the means. The problem with many Facebook users is they don't understand that in Islam we have something called al-wasailu laha hukmul maqasid. The means take on the same ruling as the objectives. If the means are haram, the result becomes haram, even if it was halal in and of itself in the beginning. What am I saying? The most common problem I face is someone will put a video. This video will have first a news reporter from CNN or Fox News, whatever, half naked, okay, presenting that portion of the news. Then music will play. Then, long video for 1 minute. For 1 minute of the video that is supposed to address an Islamic topic that is of importance to us, I don't deny that. Some Muslims somewhere in the world went through blah, 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 blah. So now here, when you advise these individuals, Akhi, you just made us look at a naked woman. I didn't know in the beginning of the video. You made me listen to music. You didn't warn me to turn off my speakers or anything of this nature. And now, you've caused all this problem. He said, brother, but did you hear the last minute of the 10-minute video? It was speaking about Muslims in whatever country. Say, brother, I didn't make it to the 10th minute. I had to close it from the beginning. Furthermore, that noble objective of yours does not justify these haram means you're using to get to your objective. Very important topic. And one of the brothers, may Allah rectify my condition in his, he has a beard, and he has maybe tens, 20, maybe hundreds now, I don't know, of pictures of himself posing. It is vain enough for someone to keep taking pictures of himself. They call this person self-conceited. This is someone who thinks very highly of themselves. It negates humbleness. Every 5 minutes you stand in front of the... you think you're so cute, and so every 5 minutes, you see these people, they be going on a bus, then suddenly they turn their phone, and they pictures. Look at this. Come on, man. Come on, brother. Man, you're not, come on, man. What do you want? So this person had tens and tens of these pictures posing, wearing different clothing. It's a fashion show. So I said, Ya akhi, the ulama have differed on this issue of taking pictures. And what you're doing is not allowed, period. If there was a benefit behind these pictures, you're actually uploading them. You're a handsome brother. You're a fitna for the women. You're a fitna for the women. What was the objective? Brother, I'm encouraging people to grow the beard. The goal was, I'm posing all these various poses. One time he's on top of something, under something, all these, crazy things, just so that people will know that the beard is important in Islam. I said, amazing. I've already sufficed you. I have a lecture called Let It Grow with a Natural Flow. And there, everything about the beard is mentioned. You don't need to show us a picture of your handsome self. For who are you? Yani a man is going to see, oh mashallah, this brother looks so nice, I'm going to grow my beard tomorrow. Come on, man. You know this doesn't happen. No one is going to see a man with a good beard says, I'm going to grow my beard tomorrow. He wasn't growing his beard for some other reasons. He's not waiting for a handsome man with a beard to grow a beard. That's the real reality. So the ends do not justify the means. Allah says, وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ عَدْوًا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَيَسُبُّ اللَّهُ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. This is the principle of this, the evidence for this principle. Allah says, do not insult the gods of those whom they worship besides Allah, otherwise they will insult Allah wrongfully without knowledge. Yani if you tell the Hindu, and you curse his Brahma, then he will turn and he will curse Allah. Allah said, do not curse their gods, just so they will not turn around and curse Allah. Avoiding what can bring harm, this is the principle. And there are many other intricacies in this understanding, but time doesn't allow to elaborate. طيب, let me be fair and square, because a Muslim is يقول الحق دائما, we always say the truth, even against ourselves. There are some advantages in Facebook, provided that it is used strictly for da'wah, under very strict guidelines that you do not compromise at all. Yani, you have a da'wah page with authentic information, and you don't have friends, I don't know, they have the like thing, people people get to see what you do, but you're not friends in that sense, okay? You can have whatever one wants to listen. But this has, we have two roles. It's double-fold. You as the owner of the page, you have only authentic sound material, which benefits the Muslims. The obligation of those who join you is that they remove their pictures. Particularly sisters. Yani sisters. Anyone who's on onewaytoparadise.net, I'm giving you an ultimatum. Barakallahu fiki. Either remove your picture or remove yourself. Sorry. That's the harsh reality. Either remove your picture or remove yourself. Because I don't want someone to go to the page to benefit and see on the left a sister posing with no hijab, or with a hijab but trying to look cute, and so on and so forth. We don't need that. And anyone who wants to have a page must follow similar guidelines to make it justifiable before Allah that I'm actually using this for da'wah. And the benefit is greater than the evil. Because some elements of evil you may not avoid, but the benefit is much greater. So we say we accept this minor evil for the greater benefit. If it is not this case, if the evil and the benefit are equal, or the evil is a lot, you have to leave it alone. Which takes me to my conclusion. Either do that or quit. Either follow the strict Islamic guidelines in using Facebook, no chatting, no male and female friendship, no idle talk, no pictures, no inauthentic information. If you can meet all of these guidelines and these criteria, go ahead and keep your Facebook. If not, quit. Allah knows how much time and effort and other things have been spent on Facebook. I can only imagine if the Muslims took this time and this effort for something productive that benefits the ummah at large, wallahi would have accomplished many things. This time, try it. Leave Facebook for a day or two, you will find you have plenty of time to do way more important things. You could be learning, you could be gaining knowledge. Let's find alternatives. Join an online Islamic school. If you're unable to go physically, join an online Islamic school. Take da'wah courses, fiqh courses, learn the deen. Free, many of them are free. Of course, not from any website. Find alternatives. This time you spend on Facebook, if you were to take a da'wah course, you will benefit yourself, your family, and the Muslim ummah at large, way more than this post that you put on Facebook that causes more harm than benefit. Unless we're using it strictly for da'wah. Deactivate your account. It's like they don't let you delete it for whatever reason. Deactivate your account. And this time which you were spending on Facebook, dedicate it for the sake of Allah. Visit your relatives. Keep the kinship ties. Be dutiful to your parents. Spend it with the neighbor. Find something more important and beneficial than that. And the most suitable is join classes where you can learn the deen, learn the Arabic language, do something constructive for yourself in this life and for the future. Otherwise, Facebook may make you or can make you face hell. It can become a fitna. You don't know at what point your foot will slip and you will fall and never get up again. Now everything is fine, but there may be some time when you get in some fitna or you get involved in something which will destroy you. Some fatwa you issue, some wrong post that you put up that misleads hundreds of people without you ever repenting to Allah. Some picture which you put up that will wind up creating major fitna among the Muslims. You don't know when your foot will slip. So either you stick strictly to the sunnah in terms of how to deal with these modern technologies, or you leave them alone. Fair enough? Inshallah, many of us are brave and can make that move and realize that before Facebook we survived, and after Facebook we can still survive, inshallah. Nothing's going to change. No one is going to die from deactivating their Facebook account. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. How about Facebook for business? That's fine. Same guidelines. Business halal. If you follow the same guidelines, go ahead. ما في مشكلة. Shaving the mustache. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ said, جُزُّ الشَّوَارِبْ أُحْفُ الشَّوَارِبْ أَنْهِكُ الشَّوَارِبْ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Different wordings which suggest that you remove the mustache. Now the scholars have differed. Two of the madhahib, and not that we're saying follow madhab strictly, but just to know that what the fuqaha understood. The Hanabila and the Hanafiya are of the position that shaving it is the sunnah. Al-Malikiyya wa Shafi'iyya are of the position that trimming it is the sunnah. And the Malikiyya are very stern against the one who shaves it. And Imam Malik had very tough words to say for the one who shaves. So the ulama have differed because of the understanding of the terminology. Huffu, uzzu, what does it mean in the language? You need to be a linguist. But the scholars of language understood, but more than one interpretation. So the sunnah is whatever you think is sound. If you believe that the position that keep trimming it is the sunnah, then you don't shave it. If you feel otherwise, then go ahead. Shukran. Last week, I said to one of my friends that we cannot sit in and pray unless we have a very bad backache. But she asked me whether it is mentioned in the Quran. How can I answer back to her? Well, not everything is mentioned in the Quran. And you could have easily told her, is praying dhuhr 4 rak'at mentioned in the Quran? Is saying Fatiha mentioned in the Quran? Is saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim al-Ruku' mentioned in the Quran? No. So you have to go back to the Sunnah. The authentic sound Sunnah, which is the law, along with the Quran. So from the Sunnah we learn that if the Prophet ﷺ said, pray standing. If you cannot pray standing, sit down. So now the whole thing revolves around being able or being unable. If someone is unable, they are exempt. They have that concession. If they're able, they need to stand. That's it. That's the answer. As simple as that. Another essay, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a couple of friends in my class who eat birthday treats. I hate to see them doing it, so I try my best convincing them not to do it. They ignore all what I say and tell that it's just a treat and it is not a celebration. or it is not celebration. One of them also said that we should accept the treat and give it to the other person with the intention of giving it as a sadaqah. MashaAllah. Is this true? Fatawa, everybody gives fatwa. Philosophers and muftis, that's what we're most known for. I also told them what you said in the lecture, can I celebrate this? But they just started backbiting or backfiring it back to me, which hurt me a lot. Could you please advise me on how to deal with this? Yes, I can. Concerning this claim that you take this treat and you give it to someone else as a sadaqah, this is very similar to a person who was walking by a grocery store and then he stole an apple. And as he continued to walk, he saw a poor man and he gave him the apple. Someone was walking after him, said, hey, you just stole an apple from the store and you gave it to a poor person. He said, yes, stealing is one evil deed, sadaqah is 10 good deeds, I still have 9. So the man told him, no. Inna Allaha tayyib. Allah is pure. And He only accepts that which is pure. This is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. You get it from pure sources, you give it to Allah. You want to steal and give Allah sadaqah for the sake of Allah, it's not going to happen. Your source is haram, the result is haram. Concerning my lecture, they were refuting whatever I had to say in the lecture. Say, no problem, refute with evidence. They have the right to disagree with me. We cannot impose our opinions on everyone. But tell them, when you want to refute, you give me the counter evidence from the Quran and the Sunnah. If you don't have one, be quiet. You're not in a position to be giving fatwa. And no, the deen is not taste. You know, people go to a buffet and they try this chicken, or I don't like it. You don't think, whatever you like, you give your opinions concerning. Either you know or you don't. Clear enough? I hope so. Is it okay for a woman to appear in a video without makeup if she's a scholar, someone well known? Wallahi, the scholars have differed on that. And we're assuming that the sister is wearing niqab. Many of the ulama say no. Many of the ulama say no. I'm not in a position to give you a fatwa. I cannot tell you yay or nay. I cannot tell you yes she can or no she cannot. Because some of the ulama are lenient, provided that she's dressed accordingly, that there's no adorned abaya and whatever, and the audience is women obviously. And the targeted audience is women. Now if a man happens to see it, it's not her fault. She doesn't make a video for both genders. If she's making the video, she's aiming and targeting the women. If a man sees her, this becomes where the area of dispute is. Other scholars say no, because the idea of lecturing and addressing and doing the da'wah by going out is that of men. Allah chose the men to be the prophets and the messengers, never a woman. It doesn't mean that a woman doesn't do da'wah. She does da'wah, but within the boundaries that maintain her or keep her within that of female behavior. If she starts going out and traveling and whatever, she's doing the job of men. And some of the ulama, like Shaykh Albani rahimahullah, said no. He said this is from the bid'ah of our common days, that women are the one now going because men are not doing the job. But again, I'm just giving you what both opinions mention. What is correct, you need to ask a scholar who will give you a fatwa according to this. Someone who's well grounded in knowledge. Some alim who knows what he's saying. I myself cannot give you a fatwa. But I gave you what the argument is. Yes?
But what do you say about making a nickname?
A nickname? It's a sunnah. A nickname is a kunya, by the way. When they translate the word kunya in Arabic, kunya in English is nickname. Nickname is like, I'm Wajdi, but my kunya is Abu Mus'ab. That's my nickname. Or laqab. A laqab is like a title that one has. There's no problem with it. Unless you mean something else.
There are some people like a lot of people, they have names with Abdul as the first name, right? So they don't call Abdul something. They usually call the second name. So how do we explain? Obviously, what I heard was you cannot call the second name because Abdul means slave of Allah.
Not always, Habibi. Some of the names of Allah Azza wa Jal are particular to Him, and these ones no one can have. Other names of Allah, human beings can have. Okay, for example, Hakim. if someone's name is Hakim, and particularly without the alif lam, Al-Hakim is the wise. Hakim is wise. And they are hukama, they are wise people. They call him Hakim. Even though you can say Abdul Hakim, okay, you can call someone Hakim. But for example, Al-Malik, you cannot call someone Al-Malik, because this is only for Allah.
Okay, so my name is Ahad.
Ahad, no one can be called Ahad.
No one can call me Ahad.
No, no, no.
So like, what people they do is like...
Well, I mean, whether they can call you Ahad, Allahu A'lam, again, because Ahad has a linguistic meaning here, and it's also the... So I don't have knowledge to tell you what concerning you. The bottom line is, there are names which you can call the people by, even if they belong to Allah, and there are names which are particular to Allah. Usually the element of difference is the article the, which in Arabic is alif lam al-ta'rif. Yani Hakim al-Hakim, Rahman al-Rahman, Alim al-Alim. Allah says, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Allah gave, the Prophet ﷺ was called وَبِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. He described the Prophet ﷺ as being Ra'uf and Rahim, not Ar-Ra'uf al-Rahim, meaning someone can be called that, Rahim, no problem.
Okay, so like some people they replace my name. They call me Ali.
Akhi, listen man, I'm going to give you a solution. I don't know why people tell you how to, what to call you. This is your business. Say, listen, my name is Abdul Ahad. Either call me Abdul Ahad or see you later. You know what I'm saying? Well, I have to deal with people. I tell them Abu Mus'ab, no, I'm going to call you Abu Suhaib. It's my name. My name. You either like my name or it's over between us. I'll give you salams, but that's it. I mean, if they cannot respect your name, then Ali, Ahad, Abdul Ahad, khalas. You have to be sometimes firm. Guys, my name is Abdul Ahad. Either call me Abdul Ahad or don't call me. Barakallah fiqh.
Okay, one last thing I want to tell you that Google has recently launched new features with which everyone who has an account on Facebook, whatever they post, okay, like let's say,
You can Google it now?
yeah.
We're not going to finish like this. This is going to get worse and worse. Yani the evil will spread more. How many people are using Google right now? Allah knows. And they may be putting, and they'll get all kinds of junk now. And they will be seeing a lot more pictures and a lot more accounts.
It's not only about Facebook, even if you're on YouTube and Twitter, anywhere, everything is about.
Allah musta'an, ya Shaykh. That's why we have to be very careful about how we use these things. Now, anything else?
Now, especially in the time,
Yes?
some Asians start their praying before the 4 rakat,
Aywa?
and after pray for God, also pray 4 rakat. It's similar to the same as the similar to the Dhuhr.
Before Jumu'ah.
No, it's the Dhuhr prayer. They pray 4 rakat sunnah, and after also
4 rakat.
it is similar to the Dhuhr. It's Attayat and they have
Oh, meaning 4 rakat joined. There's no taslim. Yeah, some of the ulama are lenient and they say this is fine, but this is not the best. It is not the best. Yani it doesn't render your salah invalid. However, it is not as good as establishing separate rak'at. Because with the rak'at there's more dhikr. There's a taslim. Then there's another initiation. So in terms of recommendation, they recommend that you do them separately. But does it render it invalid? No, but it's against the sunnah. Because the sunnah doesn't suggest that the Prophet ﷺ prayed them in this fashion. Now, anything else? Yes, sir.
This is about Christmas. It's more commercial now. On Facebook, one of our Muslim friends told me Merry Christmas.
Ya salam.
Because Muslim cannot wish each other. So Christians couldn't do it. But he said, we believe in Islam. I said, we believe in something that we believe in the Prophet. Christians believe in the Son of God. So that's why they celebrate. But he said, I am more knowledgeable and this is give me some. I said, I close the chapter. You believe yourself. This is my belief. But do we wish Christmas to non-Muslims? Is it allowed in Islam?
No, we discussed this before, akhi. In the lecture, Can I Celebrate This? Which the sister mentioned, I dealt with all these issues. You cannot say Merry Christmas, not even if an alien came, and he told you, you cannot even say to him, and say he's just an alien, I'm never going to see him again, he's not going to tell anyone. No Merry Christmas, not from a Muslim, not from a non-Muslim, it's not part of our deen, period. It's the concept that God was born on the 25th of December. That's as shirk and kufr as you can get. And you saying Merry Christmas, saying congratulations on your false religion, congratulations on your false understanding of life, you are congratulating them on the most evil of shirk and kufr. And as Ibn al-Qayyim said, this is worse than fornication and drinking alcohol and killing someone. Because you're approving of the biggest crime ever committed by the children of Adam, shirk. And you're saying to someone, no problem, Merry Christmas to you. That's what you're saying. So and he said he's more knowledgeable than you? MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Allah al-musta'an. Ya Shaykh bas. Yes sir. Anything, and again in the lecture, can I celebrate this? Any annual holiday, any annual celebration that is done yearly on a particular date is known in Arabic as Eid. From Ya'ud, returns, repeats. It's haram. Anything which Eids, besides Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, is haram. Because it's called Eid and it's not part of Islam. Doesn't have to do anything with religion. The celebration, what is the celebration? The celebration is showing happiness, thankfulness. Do we show thankfulness to the trees or to Allah? Can we show thankfulness to Allah for something which He didn't legislate? That's the argument for anyone who says birthday. I'm only celebrating birthday, brother. I'm not trying to blah blah blah. Say, listen, what do you mean by celebrating birthday? Alhamdulillah, I'm alive. Alhamdulillah, is it ibadah? Yes, you cannot show Allah hamd and ibadah by celebrating your birthday. It's a worship whether you admit or not. It's a form of ibadah, because you're showing gratefulness to the greater being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise there's no point in it. Yes.
One scholar in the US was asked the same question, and he answered by saying, if that doesn't have any religious ties, we are constructive, and we live with these people, and we are commanded to have a good relationship with them, in that respect, it's okay to celebrate.
No. I quoted in the hadith, and can I celebrate this, a very important narration which most people don't know. You will find it if you read the book in Arabic. It's not available in English as far as I know, of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah an al-Sirat fi mukhalafat ashab al-Jahim. I forgot the first two words of the actual book. اقتداء الصراط المستقيم في مخالفة أصحاب الجحيم. In it he mentions a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, that he met a group of people and they saw him doing something. He said, were there any celebrations in pre-Islamic days that you did? If there were any, he did not allow them to celebrate. In that particular hadith, he made no connection with any religious matter. Once it's from Jahiliyyah, meaning it's un-Islamic, whether it is related to worship or unrelated to worship, the Prophet ﷺ said no. So if you go back to the lecture, can I celebrate? This is outside. The DVDs are outside, by the way. All the lectures you missed are available. And listen to the whole thing. Inshallah, you will find the answer. 24th of January, there's a lecture titled The Grain of a Mustard. The Grain of a Mustard. The 24th of January, shukran, ya sister. Oops. Can we keep newspapers at home? Oh, can we keep newspapers at home? I don't recommend that you do, because of the pictures, and because pictures in them are actually removable, unless you want to take out the pictures. Anyways, what's the benefit of keeping a newspaper? If you find one particular newspaper that you find some interesting information that you would like to keep as a reference for the future, for you have some historical inclination, you like to keep things, no problem. But you blot out the pictures. You blot out the pictures, and needless to say, whether they are men or women, any animated beings. But if you don't have such need for the newspaper or the magazine or whatever, then what's the point of keeping it? Take them to these places where they burn them up, and get rid of them, just so we can make sure that we have no images at home. Now, wallahu alam. The newspapers are sufra? Well, if it's an English newspaper, yes. If it's an Arabic one, usually it has the name of Allah somewhere. Abdullah, Abdul Majid, somewhere along the lines you will find the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. Then it's not appropriate at all. But if it's a foreign, any other language, even if it has, in any other language the name God, it's fine, because it doesn't hold the same ruling. you can use it, you know, like that. Yes, we're never gonna.
So then you have alternate for mobile ringtones, like music is not allowed in Islam. So what is the alternate for?
Musical tones? I mean, ringtones? I have many. I have an airplane taking off, Airbus. Mia, by the way. Even if you're in a crowd of 10,000 people, you will never get a missed call, inshallah. It's so loud and annoying, you will hear it. I have a boat, a big ship. You know, the horn of a ship. I have a car. You know, like kind of a race car. First gear, second gear, third gear. All these alternatives, or even, you know, we should avoid even the regular ring ones. Or at least one of the students of knowledge from Medina advised me, because in one of my lectures I said it's fine to keep the ring. He said even that one, try to avoid it. So I decided to stick to the alternatives and keep the ones that are halal. Cars, boats, anything which, birds, rivers, you know, whatever. But not music, obviously, not Quran, not dua, not anything which has to do with ibadah. Because it doesn't make sense that suddenly Sudais gives dua in our local masjid. Have you heard that before? You're saying the Fatiha, Allahumma laka alhamdu hatta tarda Fulan. Then the other one brings the music. And then the other one brings some, you know, Indian tune from the 1920s. And now snakes, you know, the one that the snakes, you know, they do the flute, ishada. And then you think you're in a disco, not in a masjid anymore. And if you were to stop all these people, no one will leave the masjid with a cell phone. You'll have to confiscate almost all of them. So then, all these are problems. You cannot interrupt, you know, if somebody makes dua, and then while the imam is making dua, hello! Or even worse, the Quran, the speech of Allah. He's in the middle of the ayah, and you don't want to miss call, because that means you have to call back, you have to pay. And we don't want to pay. When you get a phone call, you want to pick up the phone, so he will pay. So you will, believe me, he will stop the ayah in the middle. I don't know how many of us are so taqi, he says, no, let the ayah finish. And when the ayah finishes, he loses the call, he let me call him back. No. You will pick up, ala tool, press yes, you just stop the ayah. So, nothing that has to do with ibadah, that's ibadah. Adhan. It's made to call people for salah, not to notify you that someone is calling you. Khalas? So we have many halal alternatives, you must use them. Can't do anything else. Yes?
Last thing, like, this is the last question. Like, I know a lot of people do dawah, okay, but they don't have their real names. It's completely different. And all the people they have in their list, they know them by their names. I mean, the So, is it allowed?
This is a form of lying. This is a form of lying and spying and...
It's a security purpose. Like, he doesn't know this.
Yeah, but still, that's a form of you know, this is, you're deceiving the people. Ahsan, deceit. It's a form of deceit. Yeah, and you think you're speaking to someone, and there's someone else. And by the way, you know how many men do this? They create females account, then they join the sisters group, and you know, all day is chatting with sisters, talking to sisters, and they think this is Sister Fatima. And he's Ahmed, you know, sitting at home having a good old time. So this opens the door of shar that you cannot close. Use, you are you. You don't give another name, you don't fake it, you don't deceive the people. Yeah, you just keep it real. Because it's a form of lying. Lying is haram. Now, طيب. I think that's enough for the night, inshallah. Bi'idhnillah, if you all remain alive and healthy, 24th of January, around the same time, the grain of mustard. Don't ask me what it's about, you have to figure it out. The lecture's outside, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.